Oh boy, man. Welcome back. Welcome back to the Road Trip Kingdom Builders. Welcome back to the Road Trippers, right? Akeem and Akatim, brothers and sisters, mothers, fathers, aunties, and uncles, grandmas, and grandpas, everybody in the house, man. Shalom, shalom. Peace and blessings, man. Peace and blessings to you, your homes, your dwelling places, where you stay at, man. Them children, loved ones, friends, and of course, those pets, man. Little fur babies. All right. You know what I'm saying? All praises to the Most High, man. Shalom, shalom. All praises to Yahweh. Let's dip in. Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, right? All praises to Yahweh, right? Glory to Yahweh Shai. Honors to the Ruach HaKodesh, right? Baruch Hashem. My love and my respect goes out to each and every single one of you, Kingdom Builders. That's right. That's right. That is right. Correct. So we are about to get started, man. All pleasantries out the way. Back here in the works of Flavius Josephus, man. The Jewish Antiquities of the Yahudim. This is going to be book number 3, chapter 6. It's going to be a standalone. 6 is only going to be by itself. Chapter 6, concerning the tabernacle which Moshe built in the wilderness for the honor of the Most High, Yahweh, and which seemed to be a temple. All right? That's what we're doing. All right, and this is going to be the last one for tonight. And getting ready for the new work week coming up, man. We are on the first day right now. All praises to the Most High. Let's give honor and glory where it belongs. Okay? Okay. All right. Now, I love y'all. I need you all to do one mission this week, okay? Do you think you can do it? We're going to find out, because coming up on Shabbat, we're going to have a little questionnaire, and we're going to find out if you paid attention this week, all right? I need each and every single one of you to do something special. Step outside of your comfort zone and talk to somebody, another member of our family, or maybe a Gentile, and give them some kind of exhortation that is righteous, that's righteous, whether bringing them into the sheepfold, allowing them to cleave, or exhorting them and allowing them to understand the blessings and glory that's coming their way. Regardless, do something positive. You owe it to the kingdom, okay? And that's how we build. We all have little roles. We all have to walk in our lot. You understand? Well, I hope so. No further ado. We're back here. The Antiquities of the Yahudim, book number 3, chapter 6, concerning the tabernacle which Moshe built in the wilderness for the honor of the Most High Yahweh, and which seemed to be a temple. All right? Follow along with me. Let's begin. Let's go. Hallelujah. Selah. Section 1. And it reads, but the Israelites, the Yahudim, rejoiced at what they had seen and heard from their leader, and were not wanting in diligence according to their ability. For they brought silver and gold and brass, and of the best sorts of wood, right? Cedar from Lebanon. We talked about that on the last one, man. Pay attention. And such as would not at all decay. Camel's hair also, and sheep skins, right? Some of them dyed of blue color, and some of them a scarlet, right? Some brought the flower for the purple color, and others for white, right? So you got to understand, dyes were very hard to obtain back then. To have a purple garment would be very expensive. All right, let's continue. With wool dyed by the flowers mentioned before, and fine linen and precious stones, which those that use costly ornaments placed in settings of gold. They brought also a great quantity of spices, right? Yeah, myrrh, right? And frankincense. You paying attention? Okay. All right, let's go. For of these materials did Moshe build the tabernacle, which did not at all differ from the movable and portable temple. Now, when these things were brought together with great diligence, for everyone was ambitious to further the work even beyond their ability, he set architects over the works, and this by the command of the Most High Yahweh, and indeed the very same which the people themselves would have chosen, had the election been allowed to them, right? So, but this was up to the Most High, who gave it to Moshe. So there was no debate. You do what you do, and you're told what you're told. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's continue. Now their names are set down in writing in the sacred books, and they were these, right? Bezalel, the son of Uri, the tribe of Judah, right? Yahudah, all right. The grandson of Miriam, the sister of their leader, and Oholiab, the son of Ahisamach, of the tribe of Dan. Now, the people went on with what they had undertaken with so great readiness. They were prepared for this, right? That Moshe was obliged to restrain them by making proclamation that what had been brought was sufficient, as the craftsmen had informed him. So they fell to work. Like they went immediately, right? They fell right up onto the work, upon the building of the tabernacle. Moshe also informed them, according to the direction of the Most High Yahweh, both what the measures would be, and its size, and how many vessels it ought to contain for the use of the sacrifices. The women were also anxious to do their parts, right? Look at that. The women were also anxious to do their parts about the garments of the priests, and about the things that, page 50, the things that would be wanted in this work, both for ornament and for the divine service itself, right? Everyone had a part to play. That's the end of section 1, by the way. But everybody had a part to play. According to y'all, we all have a part to play, right? If you're uplifting, if you're exhorting one of the brothers that are really doing this work, and you're part of that, hey, you will get a priest reward. You understand? It's simple. All praises to the Most High. You need to be in these comments. You know what I mean? You need to get in these comments. That's how you do your part too. So that the chief priests and, the shepherds and all the people who are doing the work right now, they can understand how you feel. They can understand and test the Ruach and have discernment and understand that we're on the right track. We're all growing in one Ruach. You understand? We're all one nation. All right, one nation. All praises, man, and supplication for the nation from the modern day Moses, Naga. All right, let's continue on to section 2, man. Let's go. Section 2. All right, and it reads, now when all things were prepared, the gold and the silver and the brass and what was woven, Moshe, when he had appointed beforehand that there should be a festival, and that sacrifices should be offered according to everyone's ability, reared up the tabernacle. And when he had measured the open court 50 cubits broad and 100 long, oh my goodness, that's a span, ain't it? Are you paying attention? He set up brazen pillars, 5 cubits high, 20 on each of the longer sides, and 10 pillars of the breadth behind. Every one of the pillars also had a ring. Their tops were of silver, but their bases were of brass, and resembled the sharp ends of spears, and were of brass fixed into the crown. Cords were also put through the rings, and were tied to their farther ends to brass nails of a cubit long. Are you paying attention? The furlong length of a man's forearm. You paying attention? All right. Which at every pillar were driven into the floor, and would keep the tabernacle from being shaken by the violence of the winds. But a curtain of fine soft linen went around all the pillars, and hung down in a flowing and loose manner from the tops, and enclosed the whole space, and seemed not at all unlike to a wall about it. Right. And this was the structure of 3 of the sides of the enclosure. But as for the 4th side, which was 50 cubits in extent, and was the front of the whole. 20 cubits of it were of the opening of the gates, wherein stood 2 pillars on each side, after the resemblance of open gates. These were made wholly of silver and polished, shining, glimmering in the desert wilderness sun, and that all over, excepting the brass, which were of the brass. Now on each side of the gates there stood 3 pillars, which were inserted into the concave bases of the gates, right? So bowl-like, you understand me? And were fitted to them, and round them was drawn a curtain of fine linen. But to the gates themselves, which were 20 cubits in extent and 5 in height, and the curtains were composed of purple and scarlet and blue and fine linen, and embroidered with many of the diverse sorts of figures, excepting the figures of animals. Within these gates was the brazen laver for purification, having a basin beneath of the like manner. Thus the priests might wash their hands and sprinkle their feet. And this was the ornamental construction of the enclosure of the court of the tabernacle, which was exposed to the open air. And let me finish that up. That's the end of section 2. And you see this basin right here, man? You see this basin right here? Let me bring you in, man. Come on. See the basin? That's the basin. And that's why we wash up in it. Washing the hands and the feet before you go into the tabernacle. Now out here then you got the base, then you come into the inner court. Let's go. Oh my goodness. Now you got the table of the shewbread, right? You got the menorah, right? You got the candlesticks, the lampstand, right? Altar of incense. Then you got the Holy of Holies in the back, man, right? That is the Ark of the Covenant. The Ark of the Covenant. Let's go. Let's take a look. Got the leaves and flowers. Salaka. But look at that. It's the Ark of the Covenant. The cherubim on top, man. What's up? So let's go. Let's continue reading, because everything is relevant, man. And you are relevant. You are children of the Most High, Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Waha Ruach HaKadosh, man. Let's get some of this work. You ready? Let's continue. All right. Section 3, man. I love you. You know, and it reads, as to the tabernacle itself, Moshe placed it in the middle of that court, and with its front to the east, that when the sun arose, it might send its first rays upon it. Its length, when it was set up, was 30 cubits, and its breadth was 10 cubits. The one of its walls was on the south, and the other was exposed to the north, and on the back part of it remained the west. It was necessary to the height should be equal to its breadth, 10 cubits. There was also pillars made of wood, 20 on each side. They were wrought into a quadriangular figure. Square, okay? Just understand, it was square, all right? In breadth a cubit and a half, and in thickness was 4 fingers. They then had thin plates of gold affixed to them on both sides, inwardly and outwardly. They had each of them 2 tenons belonging to them, inserted into their bases, and these were of silver, in each of which bases was a socket, right, to receive the tenon. We're talking about these posts, okay? Look at this. Look. See those little rods sticking in there? Little posts coming out? That's what we're talking about. Pay attention, all right? All right, so 4 fingers, right? Sockets accordingly, all right? It was also covered with gold, both within and without. The numbers of pillars was equal to the opposite sides, and there were on each part 20, and every one of them had the third part of a span in thickness, so that the number of 30 cubits were fully made up between them. But as to the wall behind, were the 6 pillars made up together, only 9 cubits. They made 2 other pillars and cut them out of 1 cubit, which they placed in the corners, and made them equally fine with the other. Now every one of the pillars had rings of gold affixed to their fronts outward. Oh my goodness, can you imagine how beautiful that was? As if they had taken root in the pillars. So it was almost like into the wood, the gold in the wood. You almost couldn't tell the difference between where one started and where the other began. Like, it was that beautiful. Now every one of the pillars had rings of gold affixed to their fronts outward, if they had taken root in the pillars, and stood one row near to another around, through which were inserted bars gilt over with gold, each of them 5 cubits long, and these bound together the pillars and head of one bar running into another, after the nature of one tenet inserted into another. But for the wall behind there was but 1 row of bars that went through all the pillars, into which row ran the ends of the bars on each side of the longer walls, the male with its female being so fastened to the joints. Right? Now, we're not talking about an actual male and female. Like you got a plug that goes into a socket, right? You have a power plug. Well, the plug that you have in your hand, that's the male, and the socket is the female. So you understand. All right? That's what we're talking about. Male, female, insertion of an item into one thing. Understand that. Let's continue. The male with his female being so fastened with their joints that they held the whole firmly together. And for this reason was all this joined so fast together, that the tabernacle might not be shaken. It was sturdy, Naga, either by the winds or by any other means, but that it might preserve itself unshaken and immovable continually. Do you understand? Like a tree planted by the river, you will not be moved, my brother, my sister, Akeem and Akatim. You feel me? Let's get some more of this. Let's go into section 4. It's kind of a long one. You ready to read this one? Let's pump it out. Let's bring it out. Let's go. Section 4, my Mishpachah. As for the inside, Moshe parted its length into 3 partitions, at the distance of 10 cubits from the most secret end. Moshe placed 4 pillars, the workmanship of which was the very same with that of the rest, and they stood upon the like bases with them, each a short distance from the next. Now the room within those pillars was the most Kodesh place. The most Kodesh place! Are you paying attention, man? But the rest of the room was the tabernacle, which was open for the priest. However, this proportion of the measures of the tabernacle proved to be an imitation, Salakeya, an imitation of the system of the world. For that third part thereof, which was within the 4 pillars to which the priests were not admitted, is, as it were, a heaven, right? Shamayim. Peculiar to the Most High Yahweh. But the space of the 20 cubits is, as it were, sea and land, on which men live, and so this part is peculiar to the priest only. But at the front, there the entrance was made. They placed pillars of gold that stood on bases of brass, in number 7. 7! What? Are you paying attention? But then they spared over the tabernacle veils of fine linen and purple and blue and scarlet colors embroidered. The first veil was 10 cubits every way, and this was spread over the pillars which parted the temple, and kept the most Kodesh place concealed within. And this veil was that which made the part not visible to any. Now the whole temple was called the Kodesh place, but that part which was within the 4 pillars, and to which were none admitted, was called the Kodesh of Holies, right? The Kodesh of Kodeshes, man. You understand me? Ain't nobody go back there. Even the chief priest only goes back there once a year, Naga. You only go back there once. You don't interfere and you don't offend the Most High. You understand me? Let's continue. This veil was very ornamental and embroidered with all sorts of flowers which the earth produces, and there were interwoven into all sorts of variety. that might be an ornament accepting the forms of animals. Another veil there was which covered the 5 pillars that were at the entrance. It was like the former in its magnitude and texture and color. And at the corner of every pillar a ring retained it from the top downwards. Half the depth of the pillars, and other half affording the entrance for the priest who crept under it. Over this there was a veil of linen of the same size as the former. It was to be drawn this way or that way by cords, right? So they could move it back and forth, like drawing a curtain shut and close and opening it up, right? The rings of which fixed to the texture of the veil and to the cords also responded to the drawing and underdrawing of the veil and to the fastening at the corner, that then it might be no hindrance to the view of the sanctuary, especially on solemn days. But on other days, and especially when the weather was inclined to snow, it might be expanded and afford the covering to the veil of diverse colors. Thus that custom of ours is derived of having a fine linen veil, right? That's our custom, having a fine linen veil after the temple has been built to be drawn over the entrances. But then the 10 other curtains were 4 cubits in breadth and 20 in height, 28 in length, and had golden clasps in order to join the one curtain to the other. So you can close them and bind them up, which was done so exactly that they seemed to be one entire curtain. Wow, look at the precision of that, man. These were spread over the temple and covered all the top parts of the walls, on the sides and behind, so far as within the 1 cubit of the ground, very close and exact tight, right? There were other curtains of the same breadth with these, but one more in number and longer, for they were 30 cubits long, but these were woven of hair with the like subtlety, salakaya, as those of wool were made, and were extended loosely down to the ground, appearing like a triangular front and elevation at the gates, the 11th curtain being used for this very purpose. There were also other curtains made of skins above these, which afforded covering and protection to those that were woven both in hot weather and when it rained. And great was the surprise of those who viewed these curtains at a distance, for they seemed not at all to differ from the color of the sky. But those that were made of hair and of skins reached down in the same manner as did the veil at the gates, and kept off the heat of the sun and what injury the rains might do. All right, so it was a good element blocker. And after this manner was the tabernacle reared. Hallelujah. That's the end of section 4. Selah. Are you with me? Put it in the chat. Say Selah. Say Selah, man. All right. All praises to the Most High. Let's get section 5 and let's keep going with this, man. We are the children of promise. You understand me? Yeah, man. Children of the Most High. Section 5, and it reads, man, what's up, Mishpakai? There was also an ark made, sacred to the Most High Yahweh, of wood that was naturally strong and could not rot. This was called Iran in our own language, Hebrew, Paleo. Its construction was thus. Its length was 5 spans, but its breadth and height was each of them 3 spans. It was covered all over with gold, both within and without, so that the wooden part was not seen. It had also a cover affixed to it by golden hinges after a wonderful manner, which cover was every way evenly fitted to it, and had no uneven spots to hinder its exact conjunction. Right? You couldn't see where it was put together. It was so craftily made, man, beautifully crafted. There was also 2 golden rings belonging to each of the longer boards and passing through the entire wood, and through them gilt bars passed along each board. I showed you. It's right there, man. Look at that. All right. Passed through each bar. The gilt bars, man. For it was not drawn in a cart by beast of burden, but borne on the shoulders of the priest. All right. Upon its cover were two images, which the Hebrews called cherubim. Oh boy, are you talking about them boys up there? You talking about them boys up there? Yeah, I think we are, man. We call them cherubim. They are flying creatures, but their form is not like that of any of the creatures which men have seen. Though Moshe said he had seen such beings near the throne of the Most High Yahweh, Abba Yahweh. In this ark he put the two tables whereon the 10 commandments were written, 5 upon each table, and 2.5 upon each side of them. And this ark he placed in the most Kodesh place, man. The Kodesh of the Kodeshes, man. The circle within the circle, you understand, man? It's a very responsible office to hold, Naga. And you have it. You understand? Do not drop the ball. That's the end of section 5. Let's continue. All right, just scribing out here. Section 6 reads, but in the Kodesh place he placed a table like those at Delphi, right, or Delphi. Its length was 2 cubits, and its breadth 1 cubit, and its height 3 spans. It had feet also, the lower half of which were complete feet, resembling those that which the Dorians put in those bedsteads, but the upper parts towards the table which were wrought into a square form. Right, the table had a hollow towards every side, having a ledge of 4 fingers depth that went around like a spiral, both on the upper and lower part of the body of the work. Upon every one of the feet was there also inserted a ring, not far from the cover, through which went bars of wood beneath, but gilded, to be taken out upon occasion. That's these bars! These are the staves! Man, are you paying attention, man? That's why I have the representation. You see right here, staves, bars, rings. They are meant for management and also maintenance upon the Kodesh things, right? Which went with bars of wood beneath and gilded, to be taken out upon occasion. There being a cavity where it was joined to the rings. For they were not entire rings, but before they came quite round, they ended in acute points. The one of which was inserted into the prominent, right, part of the table, and the other into the foot, right, and by these it was carried when they journeyed. Upon this table, which was placed on the north side of the temple, not far from the most Kodesh place, were laid 12 unleavened loaves of bread. The shoe bread. Look at this, 12, 6 and 6, man. Pay attention, bro. All right, man. Were laid 12 unleavened loaves of bread, 6 upon each heap, one above another. They were made of 2 tenth deals of the purest flour, which tenth deal, an omer of weight, an omer of measure, right, is a measure of the Hebrews containing 7 Athenian kotali, right? And above those loaves were put 2 vials full of frankincense, right? Now after 7 days, other loaves were brought in their stead on the day, which is by called the Shabbat, the Sabbath. For we call the 7th day the Shabbat. But for the occasion of this intention of placing loaves here, we will speak on to it in another place. That's the end of section 6. All right, let's continue. We only got 2 more sections and 1 point, and we're going to finish this up, Mishpachah, and get ready for another work week. We will serve not the man of mammon. We will serve the Most High, the Ancient of Days. You understand me? Hallelujah, Selah. Let's continue to read. All praises, man. What's up, Kingdom Builders, Road Trippers? Section 7, Mishpachah, Salakeya. All right, near to this table, near to the southern wall, was set a candlestick. Oh boy, we're talking about the lampstand. All right, pay attention, man. Was set a candlestick, a cast gold, hollow within, being of the weight of 100 pounds, which the Hebrews called chinchares. If it be turned into a Greek language, it denotes a talent. It was made with its ornaments and lilies, right? The pomegranates. Look at the flowers. See, the lilies, the pomegranates, and the flowers. That's what we're talking about. And bowls. The bowls. There's 7 bowls. Right? Isn't that right? Which ornaments amounted to 70 in all, but which means the shafted elevated itself. The shaft elevated itself on high from a single base and spread itself into as many branches as there are planets. Many branches as there are planets. 7 planets, 7 branches, including the sun among them. It terminated in 7 heads in one row, all standing parallel to one another. All standing parallel to one another. Do you understand what we're talking about, man? The lampstand, right? And these branches carried 7 lamps, one by one, in imitation of the number of the planets. These lamps looked to the east and to the south, the candlestick being set in an angle. In an angle! Do you see what we're talking about? Now, let's go with it, man. Sorry, Salakia, I'll calm down a little bit, but let's go ahead and continue to read, right? Section 8, what does it say, Mishpachah? Well, I'm going to tell you right now. It says this, man. Section 8 reads, now between this candlestick and the table, which as we said, were within the sanctuary, was the altar of incense. This right here, my naga, that right there, the altar of incense, made of wood indeed, but of the same wood of which the foregoing vessels were made, such as was not liable to rot. It was entirely crusted over with a golden plate. Ain't it true? This is wood, man. Encrusted with gold. Miniature. Pay attention. Crusted over with a gold plate. Its breadth on each side was a cubit, but the height double. See? It's double tall as it is wide. Right? That's right. Upon it was a grate of gold that protruded over the altar, which had a golden crown encompassing around it, whereunto belonging rings and bars, by which the priests carried it when they journeyed. It's got rings, and look at the horns. You see the horns, Mishpachah? All right. Okay. When they traveled, when they journeyed, before this tabernacle, there was reared a brazen altar, but it was within made of wood, 5 cubits by measure on each side, but its height was but 3. In like manner, adorned with brass plates, as bright as gold. It had also a brazen hearth of network, right? For the ground underneath received the fire from the hearth, because it had no basis to receive it, right? Right? Hard by this altar lay by the basins and the veils and the censers and the cauldrons made of gold. The cauldrons. Oh boy, but wait a minute. I thought the cauldrons were made for witches. Oh no, they took our stuff and they made it wicked. Okay? As above, so below. Pay attention. But the other vessels made for the use of the sacrifices were all of brass, and such was the construction of the tabernacle, and these were the vessels thereto belonging. Yes, thereto belonging. And we got one note. We're going to just bust this little point out real quick, call it a night. And I'm going to send my love and respect in the chat, man. And all of you are welcome to join the Mishpachah chat, man. We're out here edifying, we're talking, we literally have each other at the fingertips. And I want to shout out all of our elders, right? Yahweh Ram, right? Moriel, you know what I'm saying? Brother Sly, Leon, man, we love our elders, bro. We love our elders. And so thus, we do the work of the Most High. We do it fervently, with a smile on our face, man. This ain't nothing but a thing. This ain't nothing but a thing, man. We love this, and we love you, each and every single one of y'all. Thank you for building the kingdom of the Most High. We all have a goal and a responsibility. Let's come together as one. Bring the 2 sticks of Yahudah, right? Judah and Ephraim, Manasseh. Let's bring those sticks together. The Most High has given us that ability. All praise to the Most High. What? That's right. That is right. I'll talk to you real soon, man. Hold up. So we just finished up chapter 6, book 3, the Jewish Antiquities, the Antiquities of the Yahudim. We're going to go ahead and call it a wrap right here. Enjoy some good food this rest of this afternoon, right? And some good fellowship with my Akim and Akatim, right? My Mishpachah, man. My brothers and sisters, all praises, shalom, man. I'm so blessed to have each and every single one of you part of my life because that's something I've been lacking, man. And I need you. I want you, right? Can't stop, won't stop. That's right, baby. All right. So in the meantime, in between time, kingdom builders and road trippers, all praises to the Most High. Shalom, shalom, peace and blessings to you, your homes, your dwellings, right? Your children, loved ones, friends, and those pets, man. Little fur babies. Please be safe out there as you travel up and down the road, to and fro in your prospective places, right? Come back and read with me again. I would love to have it. And comment to the Mishpachah out here. You know what I mean? Meet each other, greet each other. You know what I mean? Make this a community, all right? You get me. I know you understand. All praises to the Most High, as we always do. You know the drill. And please, until we speak and until we read again, I love you and I'm thinking about you, all right? All praise. I'll see you soon. Shalom. Yeah, man. All right.